Hey YouTube, I hope everyone's having a great day today. I wanted to jump back into our house build that we just started. I've been doing a little bit more building between, our first video and then this video that we're making now, and just wanted to showcase where we are, hopefully get the exterior walls completed and maybe start working on some of the interior walls. And I also just wanted to showcase some of the individual pieces, some of the meshes included in this asset pack, some pros and cons I've noticed, and really just want to talk through that, and maybe somebody who has some experience with this can kind of speak to some of that in the comments. But with that being said, let's jump into the build. So over here in the build, you'll notice I've got a lot of the walls. Pretty much every wall that was under, where is it at? Exterior walls right here. You know, obviously no corner pieces or anything like that. I went ahead and just put at least one copy of those out, and I want to kind of talk about some of these. You know, essentially what you're getting here. This is where we are on the build right now. So started kind of work on the driveway, the walkway up here, put a little handrail up. Started on some of the actual walls. Kind of have a little a build in mind with the walls and how I want at least what we've got so far to look. Ideally, I think we'll have you walk in, wall here. I think this is going to be our kitchen. We'll have kind of a wall here, a long walkway back, and then maybe this will be like our living room. We'll probably put a little bit more onto the back, maybe the side of the house. I think we'll build a freestanding garage, maybe with a walkway into the actual house itself. But yeah, I'm liking where this is starting off right now and where this is going. So more to come, of course. But let's look at over here at some of the walls. So one thing I want to point out that I really wasn't too keen on is that if you look across all of the exterior walls, the interiors, there isn't, I guess, a one-to-one pattern or matchup, for the pattern that you're going for. So, looking at these, you'll see, we have this sort of gray interior side with, they all have the same exterior. So it's kind of like that wooden sort, I don't know what you call that, uh, wooden paneling on the outside. But yeah, no real variance there. Some of them do actually have the foundation built in, whereas other ones just sort of have the, essentially just the actual wall itself, as you can see, no foundation. And I guess we could have done that, before I actually put down the whole foundation separate there. Maybe we'll go back and change that up. But then on the interior side, and there are other interior walls that aren't included in this, this is just the exterior walls. You'll see that we have, something like this, which you might find more commonly in, our garage that we'll end up building. You have something like this right here, repeated, which to me, here's a better example. That looks like something you might find maybe, I don't know, I guess in a bathroom, I would think first, but I'm sure you could probably use that in the kitchen or someplace else. And then you've got this one right here, which is like a cream beige color. But then you've got this one back here. Oops, sorry about that. Which it's probably a terrible example with the lighting. Let me find a better example. I'll just pull one out. Like this right here. And you can see that obviously differs from this right here when we sort of line these up. And, you might be saying, Chris, well, that's not a big deal. There's tons of walls in here. Just go ahead and find you one that actually works. Yeah, and, I would be inclined to actually agree with you there, but when we actually look at some of the actual doorways, so, looking through all of these here, these are all windows down here. Um, these are kind of more for your garage doors right here. These are all the kind of the doorways that we would have. This one is pretty much the only doorway that has a, so yeah, let me pull all these out just to show. Yep, there we go. So all of the actual exterior to, you know, interior doorway walls that you would put up there seem to have that cream, kind of beige color. There's none of which that have this color here. And, one thing you might notice, and again, I'm a bit of a stickler here because I actually did grow up with a family member that built homes or at least did some home renovation. So I guess my eye looks at that in a little bit more detail than most, but there isn't a similar wall to this that has the baseboard and kind of the top board. This one is the only one that has a baseboard and a top board, but there actually is no other piece that I've found in the entirety of all of these walls that actually shares that same wall color with the top and bottom board associated with that piece there. We have certain ones like, nope, not the right one. I think it's down here actually. Not the right one. Yep, like this one right here. And you'll see that just has the baseboard, but there's no kind of molding piece up at the top right there. And then that one has the top board, but no baseboard. I think, yeah, similar to that one there. So a bit unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen that. There are a couple of ways, and you'll see when we actually look right here. This is the actual doorway, aligning the actual color on the walls. We do have something like that right there that we can kind of get close, I think. Maybe if I expand that, that can look. Yeah, I mean, that's not bad, but, again, it would have been a little bit easier if we just had that included with the actual wall versus having to go back and put the actual top molding board around all of these walls here. Not a big deal. Something that is a big deal, though, I've noticed, is that a lot of the actual individual pieces here do not like to be merged. We saw that a little bit on the previous video. So, merging actors is a great way to save time. You can kind of make one big build versus having a lot of individual pieces. I don't know the statistics with that, but I'm assuming less pieces you have in the actual overall build, maybe it runs a little bit smoother on your machine. But show an example of this, like right here, for instance. Here are two individual pieces. Here are two pieces that I did a terrible job of merging, but kind of pay attention, and I'll show another example of this in just a moment, but pay attention to that right there. As soon as I start to go back, right there, it fractures into whatever that is. And that's not a really, a big deal. I mean, you can kind of still work with that, but, when you look at something that is perhaps a bit of a bigger, actor here. So look at this. We'll raise this up. And again, just doing this as an example, and you probably saw this on the previous video as well, but as soon as we start to kind of come back, that's interesting. So the board disappears right there. And then if we keep going back, that happens. And then that happens. That looks like the wall is being torn down. That's a normal viewing distance. I'm not sure why that happens. If somebody has ever encountered that, please let me know. Maybe there's something I can do to optimize that. But essentially, with this pack, I think one of the downsides is that I'm really not going to be able to merge too many of these individual pieces into one bigger piece, and that's kind of like has been one of my more favorited workflows so far. Is you put a lot of stuff out there, you merge it together when you have sort of everything lining up, and then you move on to the next piece of the build. But yeah, please let me know if you maybe know how to fix that, or maybe if I'm doing something wrong, or if there's some way I can change a setting somewhere in all of Unreal. I haven't done a little bit of research on that, but I haven't really come across anything yet. But let's jump over into the actual build itself. So I've actually started here, and I like so far how this is coming along. Got a pathway down. Walk up the steps here, handrail. There's my little human placeholder there. We do got to put some windows in here. Handrail up there. This everything in here seems to work. You know, when you actually put the walls together, you do have sort of interior joints that you actually have to place these pieces here to make sure the walls line up perfectly. If you do not place these and you just try to do it kind of on a 90-degree, you'll actually run into an instance where the wooden slats will sort of bleed through. So yeah, you definitely want to make sure you're using these pieces right here. Yep. And then similarly to the exterior joints, we have these, I'll show it real quick. It's this guy right here, and I'm not sure what is the appropriate way to use this. What I've done, so I've just kind of turned these and I have this circular cylindrical kind of edge facing outwards, and then I try to kind of take the wall and actually, you'll see, it's sort of like almost run it into this a little bit, so it seems to be a you know, pretty seamless, transition from piece to piece there. I assume you might even be able to turn this and also do it the other way. I'm not sure if this is maybe a better way of doing that. It kind of looks like these, these don't typically line up with your normal wall size. So, for instance, like if I were to try to take an actual wall and line it up there, it's a little, it's a difference in the angle. So I kind of went with this design over that design. But yeah, I figured that you may, if you could get that to work, you probably could do something like that and have those. But maybe that's the better way, or I'm not sure. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue these walls down here. So I think I left off there. That looks good. Floor down there needs to be, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead. I think we will take that wall back a little bit. Maybe so. Let me see how that lines up actually. Yeah, take that back just a little bit. Maybe like there. Yep. We have some corner pieces to fill in too here. A lot of, I'm glad they did include that. Pretty much corners for the interior and the exterior for all actual wall types, which is nice. And I did actually, when using these pieces here, again, turn those so the slats are kind of facing to the interior, and then I just increased the sort of the X and the Y from 1 to 2 to make it fit the actual size of the standard walls. push that out a little bit. It's pretty good. Let's go ahead and increase the size of this wall. It's a little too much. I think the hardest part of this is definitely going to be putting up walls. I'm going to keep that one about there. Yep. It's pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and work some magic and we'll get the rest of the back side of this wall done here. Of course, I think I might come back and put some more windows in. I know this is a little, with the exception of that corner over there, probably need a few more windows. And we'll then maybe look to do some interior walls. No. So just kind of finishing up here, we've got this last little stretch, and then I think that'll pretty much be the exterior for what we have right now. Let's go ahead, grab a interior joint here, turn that about 10 more. There we go. Let's place that here. There we go. And then let's just duplicate this wall. Pull that out to there. Turn that 90 degrees. Just get this positioned right just here. And I have found, I think it is a little bit easier for my workflow just to kind of use maybe two walls in one stretch versus lining up the left and the right hand side to a corner. Line up one side, make the walls meet in the middle with as little overlap as possible. And then you kind of extend that other wall to the other corner all the way around. That seems to make this go a little bit quicker. How's that lined up there? So that's not, it's close. Need to get that a little bit more spot on. It's very close. Not quite there. That's probably good enough for now. That kind of looks like it's still not on the wall. Actually, just maybe because that's right. So it needs to come up just a hair along the actual y-axis. I'd say that's pretty good. Maybe. There we go. It's pretty good. I like that. Now, what we'll do is duplicate that again. We know that that's aligned. And so that's what I'm talking about. Instead of making that match up perfectly, what we now need to do is just actually no, instead of doing it that way, yep, about there. Let's extend this wall. Extend, I mean I'm gonna, sorry, by extend I mean I'm gonna shorten that, pull that in. Let's duplicate it and move it over. So that's a little, to raise that up just a little bit, I think. Perfect. That needs to come up. Hmm. It doesn't seem to align perfectly there, at least with this internal joint and the baseboard. Actually, maybe I was wrong. Take that back. That's pretty good. Okay. Let's walk around and see how that looks. Yeah, we got a few spots that we need to get more spot on, like there. Go ahead and do make a little marker just so I can come back to that and fix that later. Yep, right there, that corner. The other thing, kind of going back to what we are talking about earlier, I've taken, I know I could take just one length of wall and not duplicate it just for the purposes of going a little bit quicker. I, I wish there was more wall segments that just didn't have the actual outlets. I looked throughout all of the walls. It seems that, at least for the exterior walls that I've looked at so far, every single one of them has an outlet. And yeah, that's fine. I understand making it like that, but I would think that they would at least make at least one. You know, it doesn't have to be the narrow, the large, and the middle, sized width of wall, but you would at least make a few that did not have that. But who knows? Yeah, I think ultimately that looks good. It's not a big deal. We will come back and cover up a lot of these. Like I'm sure a fridge will go here, and we'll have some other cabinets and items ahead, in front of those. But especially when you're like, I don't even know where, there's no outlets in the world that look like that right there. I mean, maybe for like a washing machine, more the industrial outlets, but may need to touch that up a little bit too. Yep. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now let's maybe take a look at putting up just a few interior walls. We may call it there. I'll have to come back, take out some walls, put some windows in, I think. We'll then get the interior walls right, but what do we have for interiors? Interior walls are here. So that seems to be, nope, we do not want that one. That's got that bathroom backside to it. Yep, already don't want that one. Yeah, again, don't want that one. I have not really looked through all of the interior walls yet, so I'm sure we'll probably have to do something similar to the exterior walls. I think that's the same color, so that should be, that looks pretty good. Keep one of those out. Mm. So we've got like interior, and we could use that probably, perhaps for the garage. Um, got a lot of good stuff in here. and at least a lot of these interior walls do have the baseboards on both sides, so it's only a small problem there for the exterior walls. So I think what I want to do is right when you walk in the front door, we're going to have a long hallway that kind of comes back to about here. This back bit here will be like a mud room at a certain point, and then this will be the living room, hallway, kitchen, dining room. I know we'll have to add on, for a bedroom, a bathroom, kind of keep it basic for now, but let's go ahead, start with this here, turn that 90. And then we'll just kind of line that up right into the wall there. Let me raise that up just a little bit. There we go. That's perfect. Same thing, need to raise that up just a little bit. Nope, need to lower that a smidge. That's pretty good. Great. Now I think that's pretty good. Let's see if we can find just a plain kind of normal wall that we want to use just to frame in this hallway. So not any of these. I think that's the right one. Turn that 90 degrees. We'll duplicate that, and then let's just put it about in the middle because I think these extend in both directions. And actually we'll delete that because we need that one, both of these to match, so that should be good. I'll come back and just kind of going to sprint through this real quick. We'll come back and make sure all the joints align later on. Perfect. And then I want another doorway at the very end. Let's go with that one there. I think that's just the same as the other two, so that's good. That's good for now. Again, we'll come back and make sure all these align later on. Just want to get something up real quick. Um, like that right there. That's perfect. So I think let's play test this real quick. So we come in, yep, we want a big, nice living room here. That's pretty good sized. I don't know, I like this view here, but this will kind of be like our mudroom slash backside exit. I'm sure we'll maybe somewhere about here, maybe another door opening there. This is going to be a combination of, I think, the kitchen, dining room. I'm not sure which side will be which, but I think for now we'll just duplicate that, pull that down to here, like such. I think at about this point, we might open this up and kind of push back into the bedroom, maybe a study, some other rooms there. Maybe even kind of this will be the center point where we put a staircase going up to the second story when we're ready to do that. Maybe even like going down to the basement when we're ready for that as well. Hmm. Yeah, I kind of like that room just being open for now. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. But I guess real quick, let's maybe even work on this garage a little bit. We'll keep it as a detached single car garage for now. I'm going to duplicate that, pull that up here. I think what we'll do, see is that? Never know if that's enough space, but yeah, let's turn that 90. And we'll just kind of frame this up real quick. Again, we'll come back and make sure we use individual pieces so the stones don't look out of whack right there. I wonder if there's a way to maybe even fix that so you can just extend but also keep the same pattern. I'm sure there probably is. Pretty good for now. Kind of move that in. We'll resize that later on. Let's see if we can get some of the garage wall pieces. So that's probably back under the exterior walls is what we'll want there. Actually, let's just go ahead and look at our staging area for walls. So we've got that little piece right there. Actually, I like this, so let's duplicate that. And I think what we'll do is turn that 90 degrees. Put a window on each side. I think this is the one we might need. I don't want to have a window on the back side, so we'll use this one here. It's a little tall. It's not so bad. There might be a better wall we should use there, but yeah. I like that. I don't know if I'll keep that design, but it's something for now. I like that they built in the lights here for the pathway, which is quite nice. Some furniture out there. Walk in. Yeah, so that's coming along quite nice. Let me know how you like that in the comments. If I should change anything or maybe completely start over if you don't like it at all. But I think on the next video, I'll tidy up the kind of the joints and the interior walls that we put up very quickly there. Maybe build out the garage a little bit more, and I think we might even start putting some furniture on. Maybe even we'll start with the living room or perhaps the kitchen. But I know we'll have some more exterior walls to put up as we'll need some additional rooms, and then once we get through kind of that first story, I think we'll immediately jump into perhaps the second story, or maybe we'll try to dig out a basement and build that. But I appreciate you stopping by. Let me know again if what your kind of thoughts are in the comments, and we'll look forward to following up on the next one. But thank you.